If you clicked on this video, you've probably had golfer's elbow or tennis elbow, or are starting to notice it occurring. If that's the case, you've come to the right place. I've suffered from golfer's elbow for over 7 years now. I finally got rid of it, and I'm going to tell you how I did it. Since 2017, golfer's elbow has been the bane of my existence. I had it on the left, and then it started happening on the right. And after numerous unsuccessful treatments, I finally figured out the key to getting rid of it for good. This is a video I wish I could show my younger self just to brag. So, how do you get golfer's elbow and what is it? Let's quickly go over it. It's formerly known as medial epicondylitis. Essentially, it's tendon pain at the point where it meets your elbow joint. Your tendons run from your fingers all the way down to your elbow, where it attaches to the bone. That is exactly where you get golfer's elbow. Tennis elbow, on the other hand, is on the other side, not quite as common with climbers. The symptoms are pain, a dull, everlasting pain that usually comes on when you're doing stuff like bicep curls or pull-ups. For climbers, it also commonly occurs when you're just gripping holds too much, aka climbing. When you're overworking your finger and wrist flexors, so you're kind of making this motion too often, which of course looks a lot like rock climbing, that's when you start to develop something like golfer's elbow. And if you don't catch it early enough, it can become a chronic issue that is very hard to get rid of. Overtraining can also be the culprit of golfer's elbow. That is another good reason to check out this video and learn why you should take rest weeks. But the bottom line is, golfer's elbow is caused by weak extensors and too strong flexors. When I was trying to get rid of golfer's elbow, I tried everything. I completely took pull-ups out of my workout routine. I did exercises to try to strengthen my extensors. I went to physio and I got it worked out. I got a Shockwave, but nothing seemed to work. And that's when I realized I wasn't quite doing Shockwave properly. So real quick, what's Shockwave? So it's essentially like a massage gun that you take straight to the point where it hurts, and it hits it very, very hard for a while. Probably about 2 or 3 minutes. It just keeps hitting it and trying to cause damage again. With acute injuries such as an ankle sprain or a broken bone, your body's like, oh my goodness, I'm hurt. I better go and fix that. But with chronic injuries, it doesn't really register as an injury, so it's not going to try to fight and repair it. It's just letting it be. So what Shockwave does is it technically re-injures the spot and causes damage right at the point where it hurts, so that your body can say, oh my goodness, I'm hurt, I better go rush to heal that. The best protocol for Shockwave I found was 5 to 7 sessions with 7 to 10 days between each session, accompanied by exercises, which we'll get to in a second. Your physiotherapist or doctor needs to put the Shockwave right at the point that it hurts and keep it there. A lot of physiotherapists like to move it around, which has some benefits. Sometimes this isn't the only area that is causing the problem, but in order to get the most effective treatment, the best course of action is to just keep it right on the spot, hammer it down, make it hurt, and let it heal. So when I'm lying there getting Shockwave, I am clinging to every word that my physiotherapist says to me. I'm looking around, I'm trying to distract myself so that I don't focus on how much it hurts. But it is only 2 or 3 minutes, and it doesn't hurt that much, I guess. It's just extremely uncomfortable. Speaking of uncomfortable, something that often pairs well with Shockwave is dry needling. You want to get some needles, put it directly into the skin, into the tendon, into the muscle, target the trigger points so that you can release the tension and increase blood flow to the area. The first time I ever got dry needling, it was the most painful thing I've ever had, but it gets easier as you loosen up. Dry needling is administered as needed, around the same frequency as Shockwave. With my left elbow, it was actually dry needling that got rid of it for me. With my right, it took Shockwave. But of course, with dry needling and Shockwave, you want to follow the recommendations of your healthcare provider. The dire situation, last resort you can go to, which I've never personally resorted to, is platelet-rich plasma injections. A doctor or physiotherapist will take a sample of your blood and remove the platelet-rich plasma from it. From there, they will re-inject that plasma into the exact part that hurts. What it does is it increases the protein and growth factors in the affected area to speed up the healing. I haven't found very many physiotherapists that do this, but they definitely are out there because this is a very safe and effective way to get rid of golfer's elbow. But it can be very painful, so I've heard. From what I researched, you only have to get 1 injection a month for up to 3 months. So that's only 3 injections. And some people respond very well to just 1. And the same goes for dry needling and Shockwave. Sometimes people feel immediate relief. Something I've learned, unfortunately, about golfer's elbow, when you've had it for such a long time, the pain doesn't fully go away. It will reduce, but it won't go away because your brain is hardwired to expect pain in certain situations. But the good news is, when golfer's elbow is gone and it's just that phantom pain, you're not causing damage, you're not making it worse, and the loss of function and performance is not there anymore. In terms of exercises, here are the main ones you want to be doing in order to get rid of golfer's elbow. If you're in an early phase of golfer's elbow, doing these exercises alone may be enough to get rid of it for you. But if you're in a more advanced phase, such as myself, you might want to look into physiotherapy intervention. The first best exercise for preventing and getting rid of golfer's elbow is stretching your flexors. When you're stretching them, you want to try to stretch them in as many different ways as possible. So forward facing palm, back facing palm, up in the air, all over the place. You'll want to hold each stretch for about 5 seconds and do each stretch 5 times. The thing that's great about stretches too is that you can do them anywhere. So you might even find yourself doing them around the house. Next, you want to do eccentric wrist flexion, aka lowering a dumbbell. You'll want to have your arm completely straight on a bench, and you're just going to slowly lower a weight until you're at the bottom, extend your fingers, and then you're going to use your other hand to bring the weight back up and do it again. You're going to do this for 2 to 3 sets, 6 to 8 times. Next, you've got pronation. So this is when you're turning your palm upwards. You'll want to use an elastic band or a very low weight, and you're just gonna turn your hand 6 to 8 times for 2 to 3 reps. The next exercise is very important. It's wrist extension. And this is the one that is likely causing your golfer's elbow. And it's when your flexors are not as strong as because your flexors on the bottom, the one you're using to grip, is stronger, way stronger than your extensors. Because when are you gonna use your extensors when you're climbing? So this one targets your extensors. All you're gonna do is hold a dumbbell and move it up and down. You're gonna do that 6 to 8 times, 2 to 3 sets. Then finally, hammer curls. This is one of the ones that helps a lot. You're going to sit or stand with your palms facing inwards, and you're gonna do curls all the way up to your shoulders. You're gonna do this one 8 to 12 reps for 2 to 3 sets. In order to prevent golfer's elbow going forward, you want to maintain these exercises. I know it's kind of tedious, and even I don't keep them up as often as I should, but it is one of the best things you can do to prevent golfer's elbow in the future, and you do not want golfer's elbow. Please do these exercises. Even if you don't have golfer's elbow, do these exercises once or twice a week. In your warm-up, not so bad. The other thing you can do to prevent golfer's elbow going forward is to rest at the very first sign of golfer's elbow. Take the volume down, do some exercises, and then get back into it slowly and see if there is still discomfort or pain. So if you have golfer's elbow, go out there, get rid of it, and then come back and watch some more videos on how to climb better. Not to mention subscribing to Richardson's Climbing.